Magnetics. This was a popular construction toy made up of plastic rods and small, powerful magnets that could be connected to form structures. The main issue arose from the strong magnets used in the toy. If swallowed, these magnets could attract each other inside the digestive system, potentially causing life-threatening internal injuries. When multiple magnets connected within the intestines, they could create blockages, perforations, or even cut off blood supply to parts of the intestine, leading to severe medical emergencies that required surgery. In 2005, a 20-month-old boy tragically died after swallowing several magnets from a magnetic set. Subsequent investigations found that small magnets could detach from the plastic rods, increasing the risk of ingestion. Many other cases of children swallowing these magnets were reported, leading to further concerns about the toy's safety. As a result, in 2006, the US Consumer Product Safety Commission issued a recall of magnetic sets and required improved safety measures. Eventually, stricter regulations on magnetic toys were introduced, including limits on magnet strength and improved design standards to prevent detachment. CSI Fingerprint Analysis Kit. The kit, marketed as an educational toy, allowed children to dust for fingerprints using a fine powder, similar to real forensic methods. However, in 2007, independent laboratory tests revealed that the fingerprint dust contained two types of asbestos, tremolite and chrysotile. Asbestos is a highly toxic mineral known to cause serious diseases, including mesothelioma, lung cancer, and asbestosis. The risk was particularly concerning because the fine powder was easily inhaled when children used the kit, exposing them to dangerous asbestos fibers. Asbestos-related diseases develop over long periods, often taking decades to appear, making early exposure especially hazardous. Given that there is no safe level of asbestos exposure, the presence of asbestos in a children's toy was deemed unacceptable. Following the revelations, consumer safety groups pushed for immediate action. The US Consumer Product Safety Commission was urged to remove the product from shelves. The manufacturer, Planet Toys, initially denied the claims but later stopped selling the kit under growing pressure. Hasbro Javelin Darts. Also called lawn darts, these were outdoor toys featuring large, weighted metal tips designed to be thrown at ground targets. However, due to their sharp points and high-speed impact, they posed a serious risk of injury and even death. The danger of lawn darts became evident through multiple accidents. The most tragic incident occurred in 1987 when a 7-year-old girl, Michelle Snow, was killed after a lawn dart pierced her skull. Her father, David Snow, campaigned to have the product banned after discovering that hundreds of similar injuries had been reported, including skull fractures, brain damage, and severe eye injuries. Following Michelle Snow's death and growing public outcry, the CPSC took stronger action. In 1988, a full ban on the sale, manufacture, and import of lawn darts was issued in the US. The ban was reinforced by similar actions in Canada and other countries. While some modified versions of lawn darts with blunt, rounded tips exist today, traditional lawn darts with metal tips remain illegal for sale. Slap bracelets. These were a popular fashion accessory in the late 1980s and early 1990s. They consisted of a flexible, flat strip of metal covered in fabric or plastic. When slapped against the wrist, the metal inside would curl around the arm, securing the bracelet in place. Despite their popularity, slap bracelets were eventually banned in many schools and recalled by manufacturers due to safety concerns. The main issue was that some cheaply made versions of the bracelets contained poorly covered or defective metal strips. Over time, the thin plastic or fabric covering would wear out or tear, exposing the sharp-edged metal underneath. This led to numerous injuries, including deep cuts, bruises, and puncture wounds. One of the most significant recalls occurred in 1990 when the US Consumer Product Safety Commission warned of the dangers after receiving reports of injuries. Several schools across the United States and other countries responded by banning slap bracelets from classrooms to prevent students from getting hurt. Some reports even suggested that children were using the bracelets as makeshift weapons. The problem was exacerbated by the fact that many imitation slap bracelets were produced with lower quality materials. Some of these knockoff versions used thin metal strips that were more prone to breaking or had sharp edges right from the start. In response to these safety issues, some manufacturers redesigned slap bracelets with safer materials, including softer silicone covers and reinforced edges to prevent sharp metal from being exposed. These improved versions made a comeback in later years, and slap bracelets are still available today, though they are now subject to stricter safety regulations. Sky dancers. Another one of Hasbro's creations, these dolls had foam wings and were launched into the air using a pull-string base. When released, the dolls would spin rapidly and fly unpredictably before coming back down. While they were intended to provide a fun, magical experience, the toy ultimately became a serious safety hazard, leading to its recall and ban. The main issue with sky dancers was their unpredictable flight path. Instead of flying straight up and gently descending, the dolls often veered in random directions at high speeds. Reports indicated that the toy struck children and adults in the face, eyes, and other sensitive areas. Some users suffered cuts, bruises, corneal scratches, temporary blindness, and even broken teeth. Between 1995 and 2000, the US Consumer Product Safety Commission received over 170 reports of injuries caused by sky dancers. In response, Gilbert, the company acquired by Hasbro, issued a voluntary recall in 2000, affecting about 8.9 million units. Parents were urged to stop using the toy and return it for a refund or replacement. The Kite Tube, a product designed for the adrenaline-seeking water sports enthusiast. Manufactured by Sports Stuff, this inflatable, towable device allowed riders to fly above the water when pulled at high speeds by a boat. With the right conditions, speed, wind, and weight distribution, the Kite Tube could lift riders several feet into the air. The concept was exhilarating. The execution, catastrophic. Unlike traditional towable tubes that remain on the water's surface, the Kite Tube introduced an entirely new and dangerous variable, airborne movement. Unlike parasailing, where the flight is stabilized by a parachute and controlled by trained professionals, the Kite Tube relied entirely on momentum and physics, two forces not easily managed by a rider gripping inflatable handles. Riders reported violent crashes from heights of up to 25 feet. Sudden gusts of wind or minor shifts in body weight could send the tube into an uncontrollable spin, flipping riders headfirst into the water at high speeds. It didn't take long for injuries to start piling up, and even fatalities followed. By 2006, the US Consumer Product Safety Commission had received at least 39 injury reports and 2 deaths linked to the Kite Tube. In response, Sports Stuff issued a voluntary recall of the product, removing it from the market. The recall was inevitable. The Kite Tube wasn't just dangerous, it was inherently flawed. Gilbert, Atomic Energy Lab. In the 1950s, America was in the midst of the atomic age. It was during this era that A.C. Gilbert, the creator of the famous Erector set, introduced what would become one of the most controversial science kits ever made, the Gilbert U-238 Atomic Energy Lab. Designed to teach children about nuclear physics, the kit included real radioactive materials, making it one of the most dangerous educational toys in history. It came with a Geiger counter to measure radiation, a cloud chamber to observe radioactive decay, an electroscope to detect charged particles, and a spinthariscope to view atomic disintegration. Most concerning, however, were the actual uranium-238 samples and 4 different types of uranium-bearing ore included in the set. Children were encouraged to conduct experiments with these materials, witnessing firsthand the principles of atomic science. While the idea seemed innovative at the time, the potential dangers were far greater than originally realized. One of the biggest concerns was direct exposure to radiation. Although uranium-238 is only weakly radioactive, prolonged handling, especially by children who might not follow strict safety precautions, posed potential health risks. More alarmingly, if particles from the uranium ore were inhaled or ingested, they could introduce dangerous levels of radiation into the body. While there was no immediate harm from simply using the kit as intended, the long-term risks of radiation exposure were not well understood in the 1950s. Beyond safety concerns, the kit was also prohibitively expensive. Retailing at $49.50 in 1950, equivalent to over $600 today, it was far beyond the budget of the average family. As a result, it never sold well, and its limited commercial success made it easy for A.C. Gilbert to discontinue the product. The Gilbert U-238 Atomic Energy Lab quickly faded into history, remembered more for its recklessness than its educational value. Today, the kit is considered a collector's item, with surviving sets selling for thousands of dollars. While its intentions were educational, it now serves as a cautionary tale about the importance of safety regulations in consumer products. Easy Bake Oven. The oven has been a beloved children's toy since its introduction in 1963, allowing kids to bake small treats using a simple heating element. Over the decades, the toy evolved, but one particular redesign in 2006 to 2007 led to serious safety issues. The problem was not with the concept of the Easy Bake Oven itself, but rather with a flaw in its new design that caused severe burns and injuries to children. The original Easy Bake Oven used a traditional incandescent light bulb as its heating source, which provided gentle, controlled heat. However, when laws regarding energy efficiency changed, the 2006 redesign replaced the light bulb with an actual electric heating element. This new design unintentionally introduced a major safety hazard. The front-loading slot was small enough for children's fingers to get stuck inside. If a child accidentally inserted their hand while the oven was on, they could suffer severe burns. The US Consumer Product Safety Commission received over 249 reports of children getting their hands or fingers caught in the oven, with 77 of those cases resulting in severe burns. In one particularly alarming case, a 5-year-old girl suffered such severe burns that she required a partial finger amputation. These incidents quickly drew attention to the dangerous design flaw, leading to widespread concern among parents. In response to these injuries, Hasbro, the manufacturer of the Easy Bake Oven, issued a voluntary recall in February 2007. The company provided a repair kit that included a plastic guard to help prevent children from inserting their hands into the oven while in use. However, injuries continued to occur even after the repair kits were distributed. It became clear that the design was fundamentally flawed and could not be easily fixed. By July 2007, Hasbro announced a full recall of the redesigned Easy Bake Oven, pulling nearly 1 million units off the market. This marked one of the largest toy recalls of the decade, reinforcing the importance of stringent safety testing for children's products. After the recall, Hasbro later released a new, safer version of the Easy Bake Oven with improved safety features, ensuring that children could continue to enjoy baking without the risk of serious injury. Yoyo Water Ball. The Yoyo Water Ball was a popular children's toy in the early 2000s, consisting of a liquid-filled rubber ball attached to a stretchy elastic cord. Designed to be swung, bounced and stretched like a yo-yo, the toy quickly became a favourite among kids. However, despite its innocent appearance, the Yoyo Water Ball became one of the most controversial and dangerous toys in recent history. One of the biggest dangers of the Yoyo Water Ball was its highly elastic cord, made of a rubbery, stretchy material that could extend several feet. Unlike a traditional yo-yo, which has a relatively short string, this toy's cord was long and flexible enough to wrap tightly around a child's neck. Reports soon emerged of children accidentally choking themselves as the cord recoiled unpredictably during play. In several cases, children lost consciousness after the cord became tightly wrapped around their throats. Some parents reported that the toy acted like a noose, tightening quickly and making it difficult to remove in time. By 2003, the US Consumer Product Safety Commission had received over 400 reports of injuries linked to the Yoyo Water Ball. These included near strangulations, difficulty breathing, and even seizures caused by oxygen deprivation. The situation became so concerning that some schools and childcare centres began banning the toy outright. Another major issue was the liquid inside the ball. While manufacturers claimed it was non-toxic, some reports suggested that it contained a potentially hazardous chemical known as polyvinyl chloride, PVC, along with unknown additives to maintain the toy's squishy, gel-like consistency. In some cases, the liquid was found to be flammable, raising additional safety concerns. If the ball ruptured, either from excessive stretching or biting, children could be exposed to these unknown chemicals. In response to the growing number of injuries, several countries took action. In 2003, Canada banned the sale of yo-yo water balls. The United States stopped short of a full ban, but several states, including Illinois and New York, issued warnings and restricted sales. European nations, including France and the United Kingdom, also banned the toy after conducting safety tests. By the mid-2000s, most major toy retailers had stopped selling yo-yo water balls. However, due to their popularity, knockoff versions continued to appear for years, often sold in dollar stores and online marketplaces without proper safety warnings.